I'm going
Mr.
to
Chair.
hear from Andrew Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I take a call on behalf of New Zealand First and the Local Government Act 2002 Amendment Bill number 3. Mr. Chair, New Zealand has two tiers of government, central government and local government. Both tiers of government rely on either taxes, rates or other forms of income to operate. It is most important that local government has every tool at its disposal to ensure that they can provide that second tier of local government. Over the last decade or so, development contributions have gone through extensive litigation, through the courts, through processes of local government, through central government involvement, and they have resulted in a system that has allowed local authorities to impose development contributions and levies on growth in their areas, and that growth creates increased demand on the infrastructure, on the demands of town or district, city or district, and it means that those who are coming into that particular region or district contribute to the expanding growth that's required. In this particular instance, the government is talking about removing a portion of those contributions, development contributions, the element around community infrastructure. They're not talking about removing it from other hard infrastructure, roads, sewerage and all that sort of thing, contributions to those. They're talking about removing it from community infrastructure. And in that respect, it is a retrograde step by this government to do so, because a society and a community is not just reliant on its roads, sewerage, footpaths and hard tarmac type areas. It is also reliant on what the community has to offer in the way of its community infrastructure. And that community infrastructure includes sports grounds, recreation facilities, swimming pools, libraries, playgrounds for children, all sorts of areas of community infrastructure that are important for a good, balanced lifestyle that we would expect in New Zealand. And so therefore, if this portion is going to be removed, it will put greater imposition on local authorities to try and fund that community infrastructure from other sources. That means going to the ratepayers and charging them higher rates to pay for that necessary community infrastructure, because they're not just going to stop putting it in. Even though on our select committee, at least one of the national government members made comment, well, they don't need to put all this stuff in, they can just stop putting it in if they can't afford it. Do we want to live in New Zealand in a society where we end up with housing ghettos and housing estates, as some parts of the UK and the United States and Europe have had, where basically the community is not living in a reasonably good lifestyle environment? Do we want that? We don't. I don't believe any of us would really want that. But this government seems intent to take this tool out of the local government tool chest and make sure that they will charge it by another means, which is rates. Now, in the case of Auckland Council, and they were one of many councils who came and submitted on this, they said over the next 10 years that community infrastructure levy, they have budgeted for $450 million in revenue over the next 10 years from that community infrastructure levy. If that is removed, they will have to find that $450 million somewhere else, and that will mean an increase of 8.5% over the 10 years on rates in Auckland. And so you can imagine at the end of 10 years, if rates have gone up by an additional cumulative 8.5% over that period, to achieve that, just so that children's playgrounds can continue to be put in, so that sports fields, with a growing population, another 50,000 people every year arriving in Auckland, they need more places to play sport, more recreational facilities, more libraries, more swimming pools. Just so that they can continue to do that, they will have to find that $450 million, or else Auckland will certainly not be heading towards being the most livable city in the world. It will be on a downward spiral, Mr. Chair. So this is a retrograde step, and it's incredible that the government still cannot see sense when even developers came along. One large developer from Tauranga came to the Select Committee and disagreed with us as well. He said it was madness removing this community levy. He said he has sold over 2,500 properties in the Bay of Plenty and the wider area. And he said people come to the area because of the sort of community facilities that the city... Mr Chair.
Andrew Williams.
Thank you, Mr Chair. They come to the Bay of Plenty, they come to Tauranga because of the community facilities that are there and the lifestyle environment that is offered in that area. He said it worked out to something like $750 per property developed in the Tauranga area that you were talking about removing. And he said that was false economy because he would far rather, he said, pay that extra $750 in the development to ensure that the council had sufficient funding going forward to put in the required community infrastructure. But Mr Chair, if you look on the other side of the ledger, if the Tauranga Council, for instance, loses $750 from every property that's going in, every new section, every subdivision of every property in the Tauranga area, that adds up to a lot of money for a council to have to find somewhere else to continue trying to carry out its programs. So this is not wise. We hope the government will see sense in this. I know there's a few SOPs along these lines to change this, but rest assured, Mr Chair, this will be one thing that will be repealed under a government that New Zealand First takes part in. We will repeal this and we will ensure it goes back to how it should be, because we have heard from councils all over New Zealand, we've heard from submitters all over New Zealand who say this is not in the best interests of local government. And we cannot understand how this government continues to kneecap local government, continues to say how they have to keep rates within affordable levels for all people, for all New Zealanders, and how they criticise local government for the way it operates and its spending levels. Well, local government's doing its very, very best to maintain and provide a huge range of services in towns and cities and regions throughout New Zealand. And to then take away yet another means of income for them to provide for New Zealanders is wrong. And this government is not acting in the best interests of New Zealanders in doing so. So, Mr Speaker, New Zealand First will not be supporting this bill.
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr Chairman, I move that the question be now put.
The question is that the question be now put. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. A party vote's called for. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First. Māori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 63, the noes are 57. The question will be put. Members, we have a number of amendments. The first amendment in the Minister's name is set out on SOP number 457. The question is that the Minister's amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Party vote. I just remind members, if you want a party vote, you must ask for a party vote. I'll allow it to happen this time. Party vote's been called for. Ask the clerk to conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
That's the point. If a party calls for a party vote and then votes for it, they can't do that, can they? They can only call for a party vote if they disagree with my decision. Call. Yeah. Members, the ayes are 110, the noes are 10. The Minister's amendments are agreed to. There's just one point. I don't know where the call for the party vote came from. I think it was from Holly Walker. If you are agreeing, when I say the ayes have it, you can't then call for a party vote is to challenge the chair's decision. All right? Now, I don't know whether it came from you or not, but I was looking at you because you voted for this, you see, and if you're voting for it, you don't then call for a party vote. I do know that the New Zealand First Party voted against it, but I don't know that they actually asked for a party vote. So just bear that in mind. This is a point of order, Holly Walker.
Yeah, point of order. Apologies for the confusion there. The Green Party did vote in support. We called for a party vote to record the opposition of the Mana Party and then incorrectly recorded their vote in favour. So can I seek leave to correct that vote now, please?
We'll leave a sort for that purpose to correct that vote. Is there any objection? There is no objection. The record will be changed, amended accordingly. Members, we now move to Sir William CO's amendments as set out on SOP number 456. The question is that the amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The noes have it. Noes have it. A party vote's called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
7 votes in favour.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 57, the noes are 63. The amendments are not agreed to. The next amendment in the name of Sir William CO is set out on SOP number 461. The question is that the amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The noes have it. Party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
7 votes in favour.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 opposed.
United Future.
1 opposed.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 57, the noes are 63. The amendments are not agreed to. We have a further amendment in the name of Sir William CO as set out on SOP number 462. The question is that the amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The noes have it. So party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
7 votes in favour.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Brendan Horan.
Oops. 1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 57, the noes are 63. The amendments are not agreed to. We now move to Eugenie Sage's amendments as set out on SOP number 458. The question is that the amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The noes have it. Party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
7 votes in favour.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 opposed.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 57, the noes are 63. The amendments are not agreed to. Sue Williams CO's amendment is set out on SOP number 459 is out of order, as it is the same in substance as SOP number 458, which has been lost. We now move to Brendan Horan's amendments as set out on SOP number 463. The question is that the amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The noes have it. A party vote's called for. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 opposed.
United Future.
1 opposed.
Brendan Horan.
Point of order.
Taking a vote.
Sir,
No, we're having a vote. You can bring the point of order up after the vote. The clerk has asked for you to cast...
one vote in favour.
All right.
Point of order, sir.
Point of order, Brendan Horan.
This is for the first clause. I was told by the clerk earlier that the votes would be by clauses on my amendment, 463.
We're voting on your amendment on SOP number 463, which forms part of Part 1. And Part 1 covers clauses 4 to 73 and Schedules 1 to 10. That's what we're voting on. And you've just cast your vote in favour of your own amendment.
Yes.
So I intend to put the vote. All right?
Okay.
The ayes are 16, the noes are 104, the amendment is not agreed to. The question now is that Part 1 is amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Members, we now move to Part 2. This is debate on clauses 74 to 76. The question is that Part 2 stand part. Sir William CO.
Mr Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. May I just respond briefly to some statements made by the